application, but it makes the points. You can see the picture. Perhaps looking through a window or a box works better for you. Sometimes I find it quite useful to view it as an operating system. Together with your hardware, it enables you to interact with the world. As Cohen highlights, your window, box, mind, glasses, whatever, consists of several key elements. We're going to briefly focus on two. Values and beliefs. Just to be clear, beliefs are seen as statements of truth. This includes everything you know, everything you think, everything you believe to be true or believe to be untrue. Values are the importance we assign or don't to things. What we are interested in, what we value or don't. It is a bit like a ranking system for your beliefs. Cohen works on the assumption that all human action is an effort to solve problems, although not always with a negative stance. Essentially, he's getting at the fact that as we go through life, we make choices, even if we are unaware of them, and even if they influence, as this would suggest. This perhaps too is an oversimplification, but it concerns choice, action, reflexivity, the navigation of a life. Our actions are based on our understandings, our frame of reference, our values and beliefs about the world. Does that make sense? You still awake? Yeah. As activists, and what I'm leading to, check that out, is that if we can understand these frames, both ours and those we are communicating with, then we can become more effective in our activism. Linking frames is what we are trying to do. We are trying to establish shared meaning. This is not to say that we are trying to make everybody the same. Please remember that the frame of reference is something you use to see the world. People will always choose to look in different directions, be interested in different things, thus will fill their lives in different ways. Likewise, of course, we will have, and we certainly promote, things in common. It is not so much about the sameness of the frames, but the shared integrity of them. We will come back to this. It is about science, as a method to test our accuracy at the level of truth, how well these frames function. Now, moving on. These frames don't just drop out of the sky. We build them over the course of a life. At first, it is done for us. Our caretakers introduce us to the world. We go to school and interact with the world and all that is in it. As in a new film, from in utero and throughout our lives, our experiences teach us about the world, what it all means, what to expect, and how to act. Importantly, sometimes, or often in fact, things happen in life that don't make sense. Our frame, our values and beliefs, no matter how good we think they are, no matter how long we have had them or who gave them to us, sometimes they just can't equate for what's going on. Either that or they accompany a tremendous amount of pain and difficulty as we put up and live with them. As was highlighted in Zeitgeist Addendum, second of Peter's film series, in a world where 1% of the population owns 40% of the planet's wealth, in a world where 34,000 children die every single day from poverty and preventable diseases, and where 50% of the world's population lives on less than $2 a day, one thing is clear: something's very wrong. I invite you to think about the inconsistencies in your frame. For me, it's the children I see abused, the young adults they become who are blamed and used as scapegoats for their predicaments. Accompanied by the frequent images of greed and excess, is the result of wasted lives, the continual flow of advertising, as though all we're good for is buying stuff. The lies we are sold, the theft of our heritage and of our future. From here we can identify what is seen as a tension of frame. Our values and beliefs aren't pairing well with what we experience in the world. For most of us, we value human life and the right to a decent one. Our beliefs, however, what we know to be true, are that these values simply aren't met, let alone pursued with any vigour. People are needlessly dying, and all lives are feeling the strain. Likewise, people who value and pursue money are beginning to see that it does not function as was once told. That is, its continual pursuit is the cause of much divide. Our belief that it will bring us happiness and that money is the access route to a certain quality of life just isn't so for the minority. Of course, some people's belief systems do not require that they make sense in a rational way, hence their frame of reference just continues on as usual. These are self-referential belief systems. People are being taught to themselves, so to speak. But for a lot of people now, especially in a world with so much interconnection, difference and ambiguity, people are looking for answers to the questions they have. Minds are opening all over the world. As activists, we have to use this. When our frame of reference doesn't provide answers for what is actually happening, a change in frame is sought. People start asking questions. They start searching. Is anybody here today as a result of seeking answers? Because something in your frame of reference didn't add up. Your experience of the world, what you were being told and what you thought you knew, didn't add up to what you experienced or saw happen. So it's a long question. Okay. I looked at religion, Christianity mainly, because it was dominant in my culture, but also others. Of course, I looked down the individualistic road of needing to work harder or make some change in myself. But that didn't solve the wider issue of other suffering. Inevitably then, I looked at my fair share of structural discourse, a bit of conspiracy theory and then New World Order stuff. Then at uni, the Marx, Descartes and Weber, all the stuff they throw at you on an undergraduate sociology degree. But these didn't fit either, none of them enough. For me, this was simply because they'd all been tried and we were still facing the same problems. As Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting different results. So we keep looking. Has anybody had a similar experience? Not exactly the same as mine. You've been looking through things and some things haven't worked and you've moved on and you're here searching for answers. Quite a few. A handy guide to the frames of social movements, something we can use to understand why people choose to use or decide the frames or anything else that addresses a problem. An easy framing method that is applied, as I am in my dissertation, that can also be used for individuals, is that of identity, adversary, goal. Identity is simply the identification of a problem. Adversary is who or what they see as causing the problem. And goal is clearly what they feel needs to be done. This is an easy way to frame. Identity, adversary, goal. How social movements, values and beliefs are orientated around these points. Also, as individuals, we can see how we find our frames aligning with that of the movements. Do we agree with their synopsis of identity, adversary, goal? We'll just say. Our identity, or the problem we identify with, in a nutshell, is that people are divided from each other and the planet. Our adversary, the main and as yet unchallenged source of divide is the money market paradigm. And our solution is 10 points. Another one? Resource-based economy. So how many people here identify with all three? Two? Just one? Okay, so some of you identify with none. That's interesting. How many does it take to get people on board, I wonder? Does it take all three? Now, looking at these individually, we can see how we relate to some of these, but also importantly, that if all three don't add up, they don't provide a working solution, then search continues. A bit like a relationship, maybe, any relationship. If there is something we like, perhaps we flirt with the idea for a while. Maybe we spend some time with it. But ultimately, if it's not right, we move on. We keep looking. As I said, I explored religion, and there are some wonderful notions in all of them concerning how we should treat each other. Some of the goals are great, not killing and treating each other well. But besides not sticking to them, the bigger picture didn't add up for me. Last year, I flagged up some research put forward by the Equality Trust. The book, The Spirit Level, really hit home for me. Using scientific data, they showed exactly what money does by way of causing divide, especially if growth is pursued and divides are increased. As I read the book, I found myself agreeing with most of it. Identity and parts of adversary were good. But then when it came to the goal, what should be done about it, something didn't add up. It was non-sense. After identifying money as a source of divide, as a cause of much ill health, both between countries and within them, they then suggest ways to try and make money work. For me, it didn't connect. Like last year, this was seen as trying to make racism work, or poverty. I don't know why, but to me there was still something wrong with this picture. Then I found the Zeitgeist movement, a whole new framework of understanding. Peter identified and articulated the frame initially, but for a movement to occur, for it to be a shared frame of reference, others have to engage. Others who are asking the same questions, like myself and a lot of you lot, found some truth in those answers and came together. The Zeitgeist